Okay, more ortho fun. We are going to do exercise 4. Do exercise 5 first, it's easier, and you only need one instrument. For exercise 4, you're going to need instrument number 2, which has a little notch in the side, and you'll notice one prong is circular and the other is angular. And instrument number 4, which has a component that looks like a tiered wedding cake, and that's the side of that instrument you'll use. You need a permanent marker and a straight wire. Mine, I just pulled an extra met one out of the trash, so it won't look as nice as yours hopefully will with your straight wire. So you're going to take your drawing that's on the page and you're going to lay your wire on top of it and mark where that first bent is. You can see that mark on the wire. You're always going to want to hold the instrument with your right hand. You're going to put the wire into that little notch that's in between the two prongs. Now, to be able to make that sharp bend, you're going to want to make sure the angular prong is facing up because you want to bend it around an angle and not a circle. And you're not going to bring the end of the instrument all the way down to the end of your black mark, because when you bend the wire, it's going to lose a little bit of length. So I like to move mine over 1/2 millimeter or millimeter left from that bend. Before you bend it, you want to check it from both planes and make sure that it's straight. Again, don't judge mine. It's just an extra. It's the only one I had left. And you're going to look at it from the back and from the side. Close an eye. Make sure it's on the same plane. And that's really important to do, otherwise you're just going to have a headache. So again, holding everything with your dominant hand, right hand for me, you're going to use your thumb and you're going to bend it along the angle. Remember, don't bend it along the circular side because that won't make your angle. And it's going to need to be bent along the same plane. So as you're bending it, check both sides and side it down. Make sure you're not pushing the wire up or down. There you go. You'll get, let me put it somewhere maybe you can see against my shirt. Anyway, it makes a little L shape. You'll go back to this. The next thing you're going to mark, you're going to put this up against your page. You're going to put it up against your page, and the next thing you're going to mark is the top part of each hump. You can see where the straight line starts to curve. That's what you want to mark on your wire. The little place. A couple people were confused when I was describing this, so here's a little mark off to the side, about there. You're going to make a corresponding mark to that area on your wire. And you're going to pick up tool number 4 and don't use the same, like the bottom of this instrument is what you use to do exercise 5. Don't start off with that to do this for exercise 4. If you can, great. I tried multiple times and it didn't look exactly how I wanted it to. So you'll see that this tier, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 steps basically, and like 4 level areas on there. I am going to use, if you started at the very top and go 1, 2, 3, that third flat area that's not quite to the bottom, that's what I'm going to use. And this time, rather than having like in exercise 5, the black mark went in between the two prongs. This time I'm going to look at the instrument sideways facing me, and I'm going to put that little black mark, which remember signified the point where the straight line started to curve, and I'm going to put that part on here so that it is It's hard to see. Maybe you can. I'll describe it. It's right where it would start to curve as you are pushing the wire. I didn't mention this earlier, but I did in the other video. Don't mess with the long part of the wire that's sticking up. That's going to mess you up, mess up your plane. Always hold the instrument with your right hand. Okay, you're going to use your thumb, curve it around, and straight down. And you'll get a little bit of a hump. This is actually the size hump you'll use in exercise 6, which has a little bit smaller humps than the ones in exercise 4. So what you're going to do next is, after you have a small hump, but it gets it pretty tight, I pushed it onto the flat side, and I slowly started just kind of clamping it down as I went down, 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 clamping it all the way down. You're slowly making it a little bit wider, but that initial tightness let you be able to not deviate too far from the form. If you started at the very bottom right from the get-go, you might have luck. I didn't, and it always made it too big. So to be precise, this is what I do, and I get, that exact shape every single time. So it's a tried and true method I use. And there you go. You got your shape. Put it on here and double check. Exact same shape. Gets it right every time. And then you just keep going. Every time you have a angle you got to do, use number 2, the angular side. Every time you have to do the hump, do number 4, starting first in the middle tier, moving to the other side, clamping all the way down, and not ever touching the long part of the string or the wire, leaving it alone, and being just really precise with how you mark it. And that's all you are going to do also for exercise 6. For exercise 6, you'll see that they have variations in height. And so you're doing the exact same thing, just being a little bit more precise with how you're measuring. And with exercise 6, again, you'll use the middle part of here instead of going all the way to the bottom. As you're doing it, make sure to check the planes from both sides. Remember, looking at the instrument this way and then this way, closing your eyes to side it all the way down. If in the end it's not perfect, just heat it up and tape it to your page. Put it under something heavy, and it should be good. So I hope that helped you, and see you next week. Have a good spring break.